Today and this 16th is that we're going to talk about education, actually. Oh, thank you very much. Something did happen. I fell asleep. Alhamdulillah. Oh, thank you. Inshallah. Okay, we're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about knowledge and the importance of knowledge. And we're going to talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to point out to us here the not only the importance of knowledge, but how knowledge changes us. Thank you. MashaAllah. Such a beautiful reception from everyone. So we start out with Moses and Khidr. Musa and Khidr. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with them. And here we have a teacher-student relationship. We have Moses, who is seeking knowledge, Khidr, who is teaching it, and قال ألم أقل لك إنك لن تستطيع معي صبرا. It starts out with, I'm sorry, it's just, this makes me giggle a little bit, I guess, and that it starts out with, didn't I not say to you that you will not be able to have patience with me? And subhanallah, the teacher in general there's something about patience. There's something there about patience, even in a regular relationship between teacher and student. And just the question of, will you have patience with me in the work that I want to do on you, for example? And very often the answer to that is no, that they can't, that it's difficult. But, here, this type of the one that we had being taught, or that Musa is being taught, is don't doubt the way of God and have shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's way is not just the good way, it's the best way. It's the way. And, it's hard when something goes in a way that we don't like. But the miracle of God, the miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which is all of these, is the miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something that we cannot fathom, we cannot fully understand, but it teaches us about Him. The miracle of God is knowledge of God. When we learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we learn about His miracles, we learn about Him. And this goes on, right? In Surah Al-Kahf, we go now to the next thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us, which is about Dhil Qurnayn. So Dhil Qurnayn, what are we to learn about Dhil Qurnayn? But we are to learn the story. It is a story, like we're being told it as a story. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقُرْنَيْنِ. They ask you about ذِي الْقُرْنَيْنِ. قُلْ سَأَتْلُ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْهُ ذِكْرًا. I'll tell you part of his story, And then we learn about Dhil Qurnayn, this mighty person, and we learn about his interaction with Ya'juj wa Ma'juj. And we don't learn all the details, but we are learning this right after we learned about Musa and Khidr. So we learn enough to know that we can trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this story, one of the many. And then there's another story. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Oops, I didn't put on my English here for you because I was late. So I shall do that so that I can not do my own translating. Okay. My goodness. All right, there we are. All right, so we're in verse 103. 103 here. Okay, verse 103. Okay, so قل هل ننبئكم بالأخسرين أعمال الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. But I'm in the wrong. This is not the. I apologize. I'm trying to get the English for you, and instead of being, I was in the wrong surah. This is kind of day of having. All day long today, my brain has been only semi with me. It just felt like. Subhanallah. All right, here we go, finally. All right, so here we are, 103. Okay, yes. Okay, so say, shall we inform you of the greatest losers as to their deeds? Oh, you did? Okay, Anisha, thank you. So I shall, I hope you put a note to do that, but inshallah I will do it. And so now we're being taught something. So we were taught about Musa, we were taught about Dhul Qurnayn, and now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even in the phraseology of this section, the way the questions are, هل ننبئكم? Have you been informed? Who are the greatest losers? الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا. Those whose effort is lost in worldly life while they think they are doing well in work. وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. No, I'm not. I apologize. I was late today. I had a headache and I fell asleep. So, no, I'm not changing the time, but today it got changed. My apologies. And so here, and this is what the human being always wants to know, right? We always want to know when are we winning and when are we losing? And here, هل ننبئكم بالأخسرين أعمالا? Who are the greatest losers according to their deeds, as to their deeds? And they are those whose effort is lost in worldly life while they think they are doing well in work. أولئك الذين كفروا بآيات ربهم. These are those who disbelieve in the verses of their Lord. وَلِقَائِهِ, and their meeting with Him. فَحَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُم, and so their deeds became worthless. And so this is another education that we're being given here. Alaikum salam, rahmatullah. Thank you, Brother Ali. I apologize for being late. Anyway, so this is another way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us now. Nobody wants their deeds to go to naught. People are suffering in the pandemic now. Those who had small businesses who are losing their small businesses, they're suffering because they're feeling like, of course, when you know Allah, you know it's not true, but they're feeling like what they've done has gone to naught if their businesses are being lost. And so nobody wants that feeling. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us. Do you want to know who that is? The one who disbelieves. Their deeds became worthless. فَلَا نُقِيمُ لَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَزْنًا, because they won't have weight for them on the day of judgment. And in the end, that is, alaikum salam, mashallah, alaikum salam. That is what is really critical for us. I am in the very end of Surah Al-Kahf. That is what is really critical for us. Verse 103, 104. To know where what are our deeds and what will have for us, what will be of weight for us on the day of judgment. And then finally, verse 109, again, the theme here, we're talking about the theme here that is about learning and education, Allah teaching us. قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ الْبَحْرُ مِدَادًا لِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّي. If the sea were ink for the words of my Lord, لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا. The sea would be exhausted before the words of my Lord were exhausted, even if we brought another sea along with it. And so even as we talk about learning, and even as we talk about this section where we are learning about things, bigger picture, eyes on the prize, all of these things, even as we're learning this, we have to remember that we can't ever imagine that we've learned everything, because that brings us to a place of arrogance. We always have to remember that there's so much to learn. We can't be that, remember what it was like when you were in 8th grade or 9th grade and you thought you knew everything that the world had to teach you. We can never, ever get to that place. We always have to remember, no matter what we know, that Allah knows more and Allah knows better. And Allah knows, even we think we know something, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is secret about that we don't know. And there again is the story of Khidr and Musa. There is the story of the Qurnayn. So, next we move into another story where we're being taught Surah Maryam. And in Surah Maryam, of course, we start out with Zakaria, this story of Zakaria. And we're learning there about how Zakaria turned to his Lord and asked for the dua, this dua of asking for his son. إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ نِدَاءً خَفِيًّا. He called to his Lord and asked a private, quiet supplication, just one between him, he and God. And he's asking, look at how he asks. He's teaching us how to make dua here. Again, a learning. He's teaching us how to make dua. قال ربي إني وهن العظم مني واشتعل رأس شيبة ولم أكن بدعائك ربك شقيا. ربي شقيا. My Lord, indeed, my bones have weakened and my head has filled with his white hairs. And never have I been in my supplication to you, my Lord, unhappy. He's teaching us, make dua and will not be disappointed. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and will not be disappointed. And then he says, okay, so I see some fiqh questions happening in the thread. Let's stay focused on the tafsir now, and we'll talk, or the discussion of Quran, and then we can maybe answer those questions at the end. And he asks, and he comes with a miracle. He comes and asks for something that is literally impossible in what he knows and what we know even from science. He said, قال ربي إني وهن العظم مني. My bones have weakened. واشتعل رأس شيبة. And my head is filled with white. ولم أكن بدعائك ربي شقيا. And I have never been disappointed with you, Ya Allah, in my dua. وإني خفت موالي من ورائي وكانت امرأتي عاقرا فهب لي من لدنك وليا. And I fear the successors after me. What does he fear? He fears the continuation of the message of Tawheed. And my wife is barren. He doesn't have children. فهب لي. Give me a gift. من لدنك وليا. An heir. Give me an heir. And so he's asking for this real miracle. And he continues describing that inheritance, what he wants. And then, Ya Zakaria, inna nubashiruka bighulam. Indeed, we are giving you good tidings of a boy. Now, if this was a tafsir class, we would be stopping at every word here because there's so much to learn about dua. But right now, I want to just focus on the theme that we're looking at. And the theme that we're looking at is ilm, is knowledge, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us. And here what Allah is teaching us is Allah's miracle again. Is Allah's miracle again, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do anything. So we should have the power, the capacity, the belief, the tawakkul to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our dua for all things. And then it goes again, we continue in this theme of what Allah is teaching us in verse 16. وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ مَرْيَمَ, and mention in the book Maryam, because Allah wants to teach us about Maryam. إِذْ انْبَذَتْ مِنْ أَهْلِهَا مَكَانٍ شَرْقِيًّا, and when she withdrew from her family to a place toward the east. Because this is a different part of the story. This is the part of the story where she is. This is like the story. We learned about her mother, and we learned about how she was dedicated to the temple. We learned about these things earlier. And here we have the story. And I had planned earlier when I was coming, what I wanted to say about this is that the person of Maryam is represented in the Quran so very differently than the person of Maryam was represented in the Bible when I was Christian. In the Bible, Maryam was represented as sort of cowering and afraid of Angel Jibreel. But here we see her very strong, sure of herself, and sure of who she is. And I love that. Where the angel comes to her in the لها بشر سوية, in the shape of a human, and she says, قالت إني أعوذ بالرحمن منك إن كنت تقيا. I seek refuge in the merciful from you, if you are one with taqwa. She knows who she is, and she knows the power of her relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course he says, قال إنما أنا رسول ربك لأهب لك غلاما زكيا. I am but a messenger of your Lord to give you the gift of غلاما, a boy. And she says, قالت أن يكون لي غلام ولم يمسسني بشر ولم أكو بغيا. How will I have a child when no man has touched me? And again, this thing of how she knows herself. And I am not unchaste. قال كذلك قال ربك هو علي هين. This is easy. Allah, your Lord says to you, this is easy for me. And again, we are taught here how what seems difficult becomes easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the human being, we come to Allah with doubt. We come to Allah wondering if He can answer our dua. And we come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thinking we know better for ourselves what is necessary for ourselves. And here, this story of Maryam really blows that out of the water as it reminds us and teaches us that there is only Allah knows what's best, and Allah can do miracles. Allah starts the surah with the miracle of Zakaria and his wife who's barren. Continues it with the miracle of Maryam, who's not married, and now she's pregnant, and continues this miracle after she gives birth, and they walk back into town. قال إني عبد الله أتاني الكتاب وجعلني نبيا. When the baby speaks to the people. That was verse 30. Verse 30. The baby, that's a complete impossibility. If you've never been around a newborn, you have no idea. But it's impossible. And yet it happens. A newborn baby speaking. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. And so from this beginning of Surah Maryam, the education, the knowledge, we are learning that whoever we are small, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gives. And we go to verse 41 and we move to the next story, if you will, the next prophet, which is Ibrahim. وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. Again, mention in the book. So this is even the phrasing here is different. Mention in the book. So there's a teaching. إِنَّهُ كَانَ صِدِّيقًا نَبِيًّا. He was a man of truth and a prophet. We are, as we've said, one of the themes we've been noticing here is how much we, in this day and age, how much we need truth. so very, very much. And so he goes on, Ibrahim, and he has this conversation with his father. And it's a conversation where he's telling his father to believe, and his father is disbelieving. And here, so look at the relationships that we've just been taught about. No matter the relationship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always first. But again, there's dua. وَأَدْعُ رَبِّ عَاسَ أَلَّا أَكُونُ بِدُعَاءِ رَبِّ شَقِيًّا. And I will leave you in those who invoke other than Allah, and I will invoke my Lord. I expect that I will not be an invocation to my Lord unhappy. That in speaking to Allah, I will be answered, is what he means. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And then Moses again. Come back to Moses again. And here we have the intimacy of the connection between Moses and God himself. وَنَادَيْنَاهُ مِنْ جَانِبِ الطُّورِ. We called him from the side of the mount at his right. Ya Allah, وَقَرَّبْنَاهُ نَجِيًّا. And we brought him near and confided to him. وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ مِنْ رَحْمَتِنَا أَخَاهُ هَارُونَ نَبِيًّا. And we gave him a gift from our mercy, his brother, Aaron. And so, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us again about dua and about help, how Allah gives us help. We saw him giving help to Zakaria. We saw him giving help to Maryam. And here we see him giving help to Moses by giving him his brother as his companion on the way. And so if the theme is knowledge, we've learned of the importance of dua and what Allah wants to teach us is what we need to know, and what Allah wants to give us is what we need to have. And then Ismail and Idris and the different prophets. Allah is teaching us about all of these different prophets. And then we can go to the end of Surah Maryam, 96, 97. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات سيجعل لهم الرحمن ودا. Ya Allah. Verily, for those who believe and do good. Always, you notice, it's never الذين آمنوا by itself. It's always with وعملوا الصالحات. سيجعل لهم الرحمن ودا. The most merciful, سيجعل, will make for them or appoint for them Wudda. Wood is love. Wood is love. It's translated here as affection. Yani, just let that sink in for a minute. Just let that sink in for a minute. Learn the lesson to us that if we can believe and do good deeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us wood, which is deep, deep love. Al-Wadud. One of Allah's names is Al-Wadud. MashaAllah. We are and should be known as the religion of love. We should be known as the religion of love and joy. And when we start living our religion like that, we will be. And then, فَإِنَّمَا يَسَّرْنَاهُ بِلِسَانِكَ لِتُبَشِّرَ بِهِ الْمُتَّقِينَ وَتُنذِرَ بِهِ قَوْمًا لُدًّا. We have made the Quran easy. يَسَّرْنَاهُ بِلِسَانِكَ. Verse 97 now. We've made it easy in your tongue, in the Arabic language, that you can give good news to those who have taqwa and warn those who are hostile. And so for us, if you don't speak Arabic, you might say, well, wait a minute. But actually, the Arabic Quran has been made easy for us as well. You can learn it, you can recite it, And you can recite it quickly without knowing all of the Arabic language. Quickly you can learn tajweed. It's much easier to learn than English. And it is the critical and important tool that you need to gain closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you go to the next verse, طه ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى إلا تذكرة لمن يخشى. That we have not sent this book down to distress you, but rather to those who love Allah. Yes, the religion of love. And if you go to then verse 8 in Surah Taha, we're continuing the same idea. Allahu la ilaha illa hu, lahu al-asma'ul husna. Allah, there is no God but Him, and He has the best or the most beautiful, or husna, the names of